guys, Ash here. Today we have a pretty exciting adventure. We're going to be going to USS Silversides. It is a World War II submarine anchored off the shores of Lake Michigan. And we're going to spend the night. So this is going to be a pretty exciting adventure. Alright, so we made it to our destination, and the wind is like kind of sucks, but we're gonna be staying on this. So we're gonna be on that submarine, and the front of the boat is like right here, and that's where we're gonna be. We have it's the officers' quarters. So there's the crew quarters that are in the back of the ship, and then the officers' quarters are in the front of the ship, and that's where Mandi and I are going to be. We're going to be in a double bunk officer's cabin, and it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lowering of the flag ceremony, which they're going to take down those flags, and that's going to happen in about 15 minutes. So we're going to go through that, and then there's a tour of the museum, and I'll get back with you guys when there's a good opportunity to. Hi, Duck.
Hi, Ducky.
Hi, Duck. Okay, like, you have no idea just how awesome that is. We're just now going under the boat. Alright, I actually don't know if you can actually see me or not. It's pretty dark, but we ate, got paperwork filled out, we have our room assigned, we actually have some of our stuff down there. We need to take one more trip, but it's really cool. Once we get our last set of bags down there, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough tour of the boat so you can see the rest of it, and it looks really cool at night. I can't believe that I get to do this. This is so cool.
I can't see either, but
this is where we're staying for the night.
No whispering. I'm not gonna whisper.
Good morning. It is, I don't know, I think it's like 8:20. Just woke up. And last night during the tour they said the adults would get coffee. So that is my current search. Alright, good morning everyone. Last night I had gotten permission to go through another walkthrough when everyone was gone, and I was only told I'm allowed to turn on yellow switches. So we're gonna start going on. This deck is actually uneven. Last year they had an incident where a kid decided to go into the control room and press a bunch of buttons and levers, and he actually filled the starboard. Starboard's the left side, right? Yeah, I think so. The starboard ballast tank, and it actually like tipped the whole boat. So they almost lost this last year. There's the torpedo bay launching area, well, like where they load the torpedoes. And then this is a new entry because this is a museum. They don't use the straight vertical ones anymore. But that would have been one of the main hatches. It's just so pretty down here. And then we come down here. This is another entry made for the museum. It's a pretty steep stairway. Okay, so I've gone through and turned all the lights on except for these two. Let's see if we can find them. Does not look like it. Okay, so I can't do that one. Or that one. Did I miss the light switch in here? That's okay. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so this is the forward torpedo room. And I don't know if you can see it, but that is one of the torpedoes. And each one of these would have one on it. They're a tray that goes all the way through, and they'd be like resting on here, and they'd move them out and then launch them into the torpedo tubes. And this is like where people slept too. Like we had people sleeping here last night. So like that's really crazy. You'd be sleeping right next to a torpedo. And here's a close-up. And they would put them underground, not like underground, but under this flooring here is another 10 or 11 feet of space, depending on which area you're in. This boat has like a lot of really interesting stories about it. Here's the little officer's mess hall. It was used to like make sandwiches and coffee and stuff for the officers. Then here's a little officer's card table where they would just hang out. And this table actually had a surgery placed on it. It was a 4-hour surgery. A guy was getting his appendix removed. And during that time, they got hit by a landmine, or not a landmine, but a depth charge. And a couple warships were chasing them. This is the actual room that Mandy and I stayed in last night. Like, it's not a lot of room, but it was a ton of fun. And then this is just a sink. So that just folds down, and then this folds down to be like a bench, and there's like a desk here, but ours was locked. There's another room later on that has it open. That's that table. Here's the second room, and that's the bench, what it looks like. It like folds down onto the bed frame. And there's only 2 rooms aboard that had 2 bunks. And then a couple that had, and I think one that had 3 and then one that had 4. And then here's the captain's quarter. Captain was the only one cool enough to get a fan. Like, that's what it would look like if the thing folded out in our room. Oh, that's kind of neat. Oh, you could like see stuff from his room. That's cool. I mean, it makes sense. Then here's a room that had 4 beds, but I couldn't find the light switch for that one. Here's where they did like all their secret encoding and whatnot for their messages back and forth. And then here's the control room. Where they would actually pilot the ship. And it's so cool, because like, he didn't say that everything still worked, but for being a 75-year-old submarine, most everything still works. Oh yeah, and there's like another like floor beneath us too. And then there's also one above us. Though like this little area is not the whole length of the ship. And I think he said like the captain spent most of his time up there. "24-hour clock." I actually don't know if that's accurate, but I'm going to assume that it is. These are those yellow switches. I'm only allowed to turn yellow ones that look like these. And then here was the radio room. This is all locked up, so I can't go in there. But it's so cool. And then the next room is the galley, or mess hall. And this one actually had an ice cream maker on board, which was a really important thing back then, apparently. And there's a couple more lights that I don't have on, and I don't know how to turn them on, so if it's a little dark, I'm sorry. But there was only 4 tables. Just, oh, it's so cool seeing everything. He was saying like that was the music table, and that was the card table. I guess there was like a record player in one of those, and or maybe that, and they would just like play records and music and stuff. And they also had like this bread maker, and one time during silent running it was still running, and during silent running they have to turn the AC off, so it just kept going, and like bread like just exploded and went everywhere. Here's one of the hatches to get to the surface, but it's closed off. I don't know if you can see up that. No, I'm sorry. You can't. Alright, and then this area is where the main crew slept. 3 bunks, one on top of another. It's so amazing. Oh, that's where those are. I was told to use a different light switch, like the one on the wall right there. And then a little washroom with 2 toilets that don't have doors. Although it looks like that there used to be a door. But oh, it's just so cool. He was saying like to flush these, there's 12 steps you have to do. And if you did one step wrong, instead of things going down, they just shoot back up at you. Alright, and then here is the first of 2 engine rooms. I'm not sure if I remember this correctly, but he was saying like each one of these engines has 18 pistons each. Like 18 cylinders, I think. And we got to listen to one of them running. But he was saying that it was like super loud, and I wanted to plug my ears for it. It actually wasn't all that loud, so I could have really recorded it for you. And like these doors all still work. So that's really cool. And then here's the second engine room. You can smell the diesel in here. Oh, here's one more hatch. And it like just keeps going down. This next room is the battery, or like the electric generator room. It's very narrow in here. Like that's the walkway. Kind of have to walk through it sideways. But all this old stuff is so cool. And then back here is where they would like change the amperes and currents of like the battery power. I'm not super fluent on that stuff, so I probably use the wrong terminology. And then this last room is the Aft Torpedo Room. Oh, and I forgot to mention that these are hot bunks. They would put like the first year people, like the brand new ones, on these bunks, and they were called hot bunks because when the next person came on, or when you came off your shift and then the next person came on, you would still feel their body warmth in the mattress. And this boat was like really lucky because apparently it survived 18 depth charges, and he said like 3 or 4 times torpedoes got stuck in the tubes and wouldn't launch. And they're programmed that when they run out of steam, because all of them were steam powered, that they would just blow up. So they were like really scared, and that would be terrifying. But then this ladder takes us out through the aft of the boat. All right. And that is the submarine that we stayed on last night. It was a really cool experience. I would highly recommend it. Out here on the main deck, like, here's one of the deck guns, and it was considered really small for this size of a sub. And there is where they would grab the shells from, and they would bring them over and load them in by hand. And through the many years of this ship's service, only one person has died, and they have a plaque for him right here. It was Mike Harbin. He died from enemy gunfire on this spot in May of 1942. And then here's the conning tower. I've not been given permission to climb it, or I would definitely be up there. I'm not really sure what this room is for. but it's still really cool. And then here are like all the boats that it's sunk. I don't really know what those mean, but they were saying that the white, like the standard Japanese flag, is like a cargo ship, and then the ones with the stripes are like destroyer ships. And this sub has been attacked by 16 depth charges. I said 18 earlier, but or later depending on how I edit this video, but it was actually 16. There's the very top of the periscope. That's like in the second story of the control tower. It's gated off, so I couldn't show it to you. Here's where they load the torpedoes into the submarine. And then here was the original entry hatch. But they don't use it anymore, because they use that one. It's now a museum. Oh, this boat was so pretty at night. I tried to take a video of it, but the light was really bad. Though I'm going to try to put it in anyway. We're not sure what that boat is. We think it's a research vessel. And then over there is the cutter, and we're going to go take a look at that one next. But that is the USS Silversides. It was an amazing experience, and I would highly recommend it. Like, really, like, being able to sleep on a submarine, like, who does that? Or even, like, who has the ability to? But if you're ever in Muskegon, Michigan, give it a try. It's really cool. And surprisingly cheap if you're going to use it as a hotel room for one night. Morning! So, there you go. That was the ship. See you later.